riding down the Harland Highway.
All right, hold tight on the Harland Highway Show.
Harland Williams.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Now, that's right. You're right here on the Harland Highway, Lake. Can you read that?
Podcast.
Right, Guy. We are here on the Harland Highway with Ian Bagg. How are you, Guy?
I'm good, buddy. You?
Comedian,
Some days.
writer,
Some days.
dancer,
Most days.
model.
Never.
You will be.
I will be.
Dude, I got to ask you
That's
right.
funny. You will be.
You will be.
It's so funny. You will be.
You will be. You will. It's coming.
You got old man outfits.
Yeah, you could do it.
I can.
I gotta ask
Cheers.
you right out of the gate. Cheers. Have you? Are you in trouble with the law at all?
Sometimes.
You
No,
got-
no.
Well, you got that look in your eye, like you just did a drive-by, or you
I'm
punched.
so nervous to be with you. There's very few people that get me nervous, but
Really?
I spin out when I get to talk to Harland.
Why?
Because you're fantastic.
Well, I think we can wrap it up.
And
right
that's
there.
been another great episode of
Another
Harland
great-
Highway Podcast.
God, I was just waiting for that. How are we gonna end
No,
it?
you are though. You are. You've always been. You've so talented, so nice, handsome, and successful. You're like every Canadian kid when I was starting was like Harland Williams.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, yeah. So you're Canadian too.
Yeah.
You're the first Canadian I've had on the Harland Highway.
That's best that you don't have many on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we just save it for you.
Yeah, fuck you, Angelo Tesseris.
Yeah. We don't need others.
Excuse my language. I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this.
You can swear.
I don't want
What's your favorite swear word, by the way?
I like the old fuck. Yeah.
The old fuck.
The old fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's
How
the
about
old
you?
fuck sound?
The old fuck is fucking wings fell off the bomber.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
We're
Lord.
gonna take down Germany, but the wings fell off my fucking bomber.
Wow. Old war references.
Yeah.
Was that WW2 or WW1?
WW1.
Wow.
The wings would fall off much more in
Yeah.
WW1 because they didn't have it perfected then.
Yeah, they had the biplanes,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, they'd sleep with anybody.
Oh, power slam. Canadian power slam.
Oh God, I love it. I'm so nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous, guy. We're Canadians.
I
We
know.
can relax.
Yeah.
We can relax around each other. Terrence, right?
Terrace, British Columbia.
Terrace, yeah.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere, really. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like even a city or a suburb close to like Vancouver.
No.
It's like out there in Bigfoot country.
Actually, the most, for the longest time, the most UFO sightings in Canada, like in the middle of nowhere.
I distinctly just said Bigfoot. And
yeah,
you,
but
you steered me away from
Bigfoot
it.
and UFO are the same people.
Are they really?
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think? He gets on his spaceship and he goes away.
But
and
I
they come
thought a
back?
UFO was like a cylindrical, like spinning disc. Is it hairy?
Why do you drink before you do these?
Well, come on, guy.
Yes, I'm sorry, I did. Yeah, UFO and is a completely different thing than Bigfoot. But Bigfoot was also spotted a lot where I grew up.
He was?
Yes.
Did you ever see?
No.
Do you call it Bigfoot, Yeti, or Sasquatch?
Sasquatch.
How do you squat?
Yeah.
Sasquatch. How do you say it?
Sasquatch.
But if you slow it down,
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch. You know, it's funny. Sometimes
Half
late at night
Saskatoon,
when
half
my
watch.
tapeworm acts up. You ever have your stomach rumble?
You're so rich. Did you have a tapeworm?
Does your stomach ever rumble?
There's a rumble, yeah.
So sometimes at night when Tommy, I gave him a name.
Tommy the
Tommy
tapeworm.
the tapeworm starts acting up. My stomach rumbles and it sounds like he's saying Sasquatch. Isn't that weird?
Harland, look out the window. It's Sasquatch.
Wow.
I would think up here, living up here, you see a lot of things that not many people see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, people think there's a Sasquatch up here in the Hollywood Hills, but it's just a homeless guy from Glendale.
Just a medium-sized Sasquatch.
He's hairy.
He's hairy. Big feet?
Big feet. Yeah, because he has no tops to his shoes, so you can see. And we don't know what color his skin is because he's like
So dirty.
He's been on the street. We don't know if he's black, white, Asian. So he's just like a hairy, weird.
He can work in any film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can do anything.
But yeah, there was Sasquatch sightings where I grew up.
But you never saw him.
No.
Was there someone in town, though, that was like bona fide, like, yeah, I saw him and tells the whole story?
I don't remember that.
Okay. There wasn't one nut that just like...
I'm sure there was, but I just never met him. Like I was gone before that I would be of that age where you'd talk to that kind of person.
So it was a him.
Oh, absolutely.
Interesting. You didn't
Girls
know.
never see Sasquatch.
They don't?
No.
What
The
if they-
women folk are too busy hiding in the back of the wagon. When it's covered, they don't get to see the Sasquatch.
The women folk.
The women folk, they're
Another
too busy.
World War I reference.
Yes.
You're a real history nut. God. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I believe that stuff exists.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean, what do they say that we've only explored like, 10% of the whole ocean?
Right.
So there's got to be something down
In
there
the
we
ocean.
haven't
In
seen.
the ocean, I believe. Yeah.
But think of the land, but without water,
Yeah, we'd see it.
it's
He'd
still an ocean of trees.
He'd stumble across a city at some
Right?
point, right? He'd be like, "What the
Yeah.
hell?" I don't know why I talk like a 1940s villain.
Well, it's-
Say I'm gonna go into the town, get myself some things.
Yeah, I'm going to go eat a Dalmatian, see? Do they eat dogs, do you think?
No, I thought they were always vegetarians. Weren't they supposed to be nice and vegetarians? Wasn't that the thing about Sasquatch?
Oh, come on, guys.
I'm being serious.
You're 9 feet tall. You're covered with like Kenny G hair.
Yes.
And you're going to eat rhubarb?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
They were always
I'm
breaking
eating a baby.
Look it up on the Google. They're always breaking into people's gardens. They're never eating.
You
things.
don't break into a garden. Gardens are already outdoors.
Yeah, because you get my grandma's fence and you steal the rhubarb, as you say.
As you say, everyone
Maybe
says
a head of
rhubarb.
cabbage. Maybe.
You can't break into something that's outdoors,
Yes,
guy.
you can if it's got a fence around it.
Well, it's still outdoors. It's gonna have roofs and walls to be indoors.
Oh, you're so rich. You don't even connect with the human anymore.
Have you ever seen an indoor garden?
Actually, I have
Oh shit.
inside a greenhouse.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You thought you were smarter than me.
Wow.
Take that, people.
Wow.
Don't listen to Harland. Go to Ian's podcast. Smarter than Harland.
God, you just power hammered me.
I did, right now. Are we getting ready for Halloween?
Oh well, this is going to be like right around Halloween.
Oh.
So later in the potty pot, I want to ask you if you have any funny Halloween stories.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's got one, right, guy?
Yeah.
But not yet. I'm not going to ask.
I'm already thinking.
Well, I got to ask you about this. Where's my glasses? Because this is funny. You grew up right on the shores of the Skeena River,
Yeah.
right?
I was just up there last week.
What were you doing at the Skeena?
I was just saying hi to the old river as she went through town. Here's a nice story about the old Skeena River.
Oh, here we go.
So when the Skeena
Yeah.
gets to a certain point, it cuts off to the Kalem, right? And the Kalem goes this way. Well,
Where do you live? Lord of the Rings?
Basically, it's
Christ.
the Canadian version of Lord of the Rings.
Schema and what?
The Skeena and the Kalem.
Okay.
Okay, so the
What
Kalem
about
goes this way.
gobbledygumps?
Well, yeah, it's going to gobbledygump. So they built a bunch of houses right here, and during the flood, the river changed courses. You know this from
Okay.
school.
Yeah,
Sometimes they
yeah.
just go a different way than they've ever gone before.
Yeah.
and it took out a bunch of the houses. Like it took all the dirt from underneath.
Oh,
and
wow.
now a whole bunch of the houses are unlivable because people will fall into the river.
So there's like empty shells of houses?
Beautiful houses.
You know who's
Worth-
moving in there, right?
You.
Sasquatch.
There's no gardens. The river.
They're gonna go indoors, guy.
Oh my God, that'd be crazy if just family of Sasquatch. Now it all makes sense.
I think wasn't there a show like that, Harry and the Hendersons or something?
Who was in
What
Har-
was that?
That was my Sasquatch thinking
God.
about things.
Sounds like you just
Harry-
climbed off a streetwalker. You're just like,
You go back and you give that money to your pimp.
God.
No,
Oh, this isn't
Harry
the Red
had-
Roof Inn, guy. This
Sorry.
is the podcast.
Sorry, we're ruining this show. I apologize.
God.
This is a very strict show that's supposed to go down a very straight path.
Well, no, it's okay, but I didn't expect you to make truck driver sex noises so early. Wow.
What's your best Halloween story?
Wow. Motel 6.
Motel 6.
Glory hole action.
Oh, yeah. The
Wow.
walls are very thin there.
But have you ever heard anything through a motel wall?
Oh yeah.
Like, what's the wackiest thing you've heard through a wall?
I remember one time there was a guy having sex, and the next day I seen him and his dog check out, and that was it.
Come on.
Seriously.
What
Kentucky.
What did it sound like?
Like that.
And then was there a little?
No, there wasn't any of that. I don't think he was sleeping with the dog. I think he was just jagging it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
And making the dog watch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Trying to
hopefully it
teach
was
her
a
eye.
seeing eye dog and it was blind.
I was going the same way.
You were?
And in my head, I was like, maybe it's a seeing eye dog. And then you said it, and I was like,
Holy
Oh,
clam
man.
sauce! Wow.
ooh, this is a very spooky Halloween.
Oh yeah, we
issue.
got to turn. There's little switches on the bottom, and they flicker. Turn yours on, and it's
All
part of the Halloween fun.
Oh, that's nice. That'll be good
Isn't
for
that
the
fun? That'll be
good for the people with epilepsy.
Yeah. Have you seen that now when you go to watch a TV show?
No.
They got the disclaimer. This show may be hard or dangerous for people because of flashing lights.
What
and-
show is that? What are you watching?
This is on all the
Some
Disney
rave?
Plus. No, it's on
yeah.
Netflix. Before any movie or series now, they got a disclaimer about flickering lights.
Son of a
How sensitive have we become, man?
bunch of pussies living in this world that couldn't even go up to Terrace, BC, live near the Skeena and the Galen. Oh, so mad. Is that true, or
Angry.
were you just?
No, that's for real.
I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah, it's like we are so pussified now. You can't even watch a show with
Are you-
flickering lights.
Are you one of those people? When I was a kid,
No.
TV would fall on us. We'd get hurt. We wouldn't
I
blame
was
the TV.
never a kid.
You
I've
hadn't-
got have you heard the Benjamin Button's disease?
Which one's that?
The one where you grow backwards? Yeah.
You were born as a full-size man?
I'm gonna be a kid in about 45 years.
I look forward
Yeah.
to that.
So you're saying a TV's gonna fall on me?
Yeah, chances are.
Wow. Hope
They
it's
used to back where there was earthquakes. They'd have to seat belt the TV into the wall so it didn't fall on.
Oh yeah.
children. Remember
Yeah,
that?
the big giant TVs with the
Yeah.
tubes.
Yeah, because they're like 400 pounds.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
huge.
huge.
Do you know any kids that were killed by a falling TV?
I don't, because they no longer exist.
I wish I did. I wish I saw
We
a
love
kid.
a good sad story.
I'd love to see a kid get crunched by like a good Sony XL572. Or
You're
a
so smart.
or a Samsung 20X059 with HD. I mean, imagine that falling on a kid's fucking face and crushing his skull.
It's like you got some sort of weird superpowers and you hold energy in there with types of TVs.
I want to see a Best Buy death. I want to see a child crushed by an appliance.
I don't. That's horrible, Harland.
You don't?
You're such a sweet man, and then you're like, I want somebody killed by a TV.
I didn't say somebody. I said a kid.
Oh, sorry, child. Everything's fine.
God, guy. So you're in this little tiny town in
Just
the
walking
middle of
around.
nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, remember when you were a little kid? I
Yep.
haven't been one yet. I will be soon.
I'll tell you about it.
But remember when you were a little kid and you found your first like Playboy at your friend's house? Your dad had it
Yeah, yeah.
in the office or something.
It's weird. My dad kept it at my friend's house.
He did.
Yeah, he's like, hey, hold on to this, Johnny.
Yeah.
Robin will get upset at me, but if you have it at your house.
Oh wow! And then you open it,
Yeah.
and you got the centerfold. Remember this thing flapped out?
yeah.
It was like as long as a fucking aircraft carrier,
Right.
And then on it, it had all these just 5'3",
Yeah.
born in little town in Ohio named Krunglegunk or whatever.
Yeah. Dog named.
Yeah, like all these little facts.
Yeah.
And there was these gorgeous, beautiful women in these little unassuming towns.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think of you. Here's this hilarious, funny comedian
Oh.
coming out of this little town where two rivers destroy homes.
Yeah. I thought you were saying there was beautiful women in the town that I grew up in.
No, because most comedians
Exactly.
come
No.
from like big
No,
cities.
Exactly. Right there.
What? No.
They weren't beautiful women. They were tough women.
Tough. Log rollers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking like Sasquatch.
I knew
Walking around the town, breaking into gardens.
I knew a girl in Revelstoke
Oh, really?
who actually had a beaver lodge on her
On her body?
on her.
No
Yeah.
way. No way.
Yeah, if you wanted to have intercourse with her, you had to swim up and
You
go
had to
in.
You had to break the dam.
Yeah, and you had to chew some bark. Too soon, guy.
Dude, so you didn't. Did you date a girl from Revelstoke?
No, but I shoplifted there once. When I was a kid, I shoplifted a little knife from a gift shop.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
I love the way your brain works. It's
Yeah. It's true.
Did you sleep with a girl from there? No, but I shoplifted.
Knife.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You were, and people can say I'm sucking up to you. They can say whatever they want.
Yeah. I hope
Fucking
they do.
Brilliance.
Yeah.
Brilliance.
And I'm bouncing it back at you, guy. Yeah.
Too nice.
Remember I called you? I emailed you about a year ago.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to talk about because, there's a lot of comedy specials on Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these streamers. Mm-hmm. And, I'll watch them from here and there. And then I came onto yours one night and it was like almost the whole thing you did crowd work.
Right.
And I went, this is the funniest special out of all the ones that are out there right now. And
Too nice. You were too nice.
I had to write you.
I didn't know if you were joking with me.
No, that was for real.
Like, yeah, I was like, yeah. Thanks,
What's
man.
the name of it? Because I want people to watch it.
I think the one you sent me about was called Conversations. Was it Conversations, that one?
The one where you're just almost the whole thing, you're just riffing with the crowd.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good.
Thanks, man.
It's so good. Like,
You
crowd work is not easy. And
they love to say it is. They love to say it's easy
not.
and hacky.
Yeah, it's funny, but that seems to be changing now. Now with all this digital media now,
Right.
nobody has time to put out a bit.
Right. So
now it's like, I better do crowd work and hope I get a good little back and forth with the crowd.
Right.
And so now you're right. I used to I do a ton of crowd work, and there were snobby comics at times that go, oh yeah, talking to the crowd, and it's not that easy.
It's not, and it's just basically you're using them as your writing room.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing.
Yeah,
You're not doing anything tricky. You're just using. You're writing with and other comics, they just write in rooms and then they bring their stuff, but we write it there.
Well, which brings me to the point, it's you're writing on the fly.
Yeah. You're
writing in nanoseconds versus sitting at a computer having the luxury of taking all the time in the world to write a bit. You're formulating a bit in not 3 or 4 seconds. You're formulating the bit the second the audience member stops talking,
right?
You're already creating the response in your head.
Did you know you were going to do crowd work when you started? Like,
I always wanted to.
Me too.
Who
influenced you?
So before I saw anybody, before I ever went to stand-up comedy, I always wanted to talk to the crowd because in my head it was always like everyone can write a routine, practice it, and go out and make it work, which in itself is not an easy feat.
Not an easy feat at all.
It's a whole other discipline.
Right.
But I always said to myself, to really push myself, I go, what's the purest form of comedy?
Right.
And the purest form of comedy is going back to what I just said. It happens in a second. You go into a room, you don't know anybody, they don't know you, and you can talk off the tip of your tongue, off the top of your head, and make that room laugh hard.
Absolutely.
It's the purest, it's the fastest, it's probably the hardest, I would think.
I think it's hard. I think it's the most original, and I think it's I like when the crowd gets a laugh. Like when somebody in the crowd says something that's funny off of something you said.
Yeah.
Like I love laughing.
Isn't it great?
It's so, because I find some guys will get mad at those people for getting a laugh, right?
Right.
And I with you and I fucking love it when they're so in tune. You're hanging with friends and somebody says something funny and then somebody says something else funny. You're laughing, you're together, and it's just fun. Yeah.
Well, what's also great about it is I find, and I think this might be half the reason I do it, and I think it might be you. I entertain myself with it.
Absolutely.
Because when you write out an act, which me and you both have, we both have very solid written acts. We can do that, but you kind of know what's coming with that practice. But when you make it up in the moment, you don't know what you're going to say.
Right.
And half the time you say stuff that even surprises yourself or catches you off guard.
So crazy.
I crack up all the time on stage when I improvise.
So you wake up at the end of your set and go, "Oh, where was I?" Have you ever done that before? Because I just kind of go into a trance where I'm like,
"Oh, really?"
Yeah, I kind of go like, and I'm like, at the end, I'm like, "Oh, that was so much fun."
Yeah, I get I call it kind of going into the zone. I call it like I can go up on stage and do a perfectly written set for 25, 40 minutes and kill. Then
I've seen you do nothing but kill.
Really? Thank you. But
Like all the time. Like it's insanely good.
Thank you. But I go up and do a set where I kind of meander, walk, improvising with the crowd, and some of it hits and some of it doesn't. But I'll feel better inside coming off the stage from that than I will from doing a really solid pre-written set.
Because you're not as loose, right?
You're not as loose, and like I said, it goes back to you don't know what's coming. So I feel more creative because I created all this stuff in the moment.
Yeah. I call them, remember that old car racing game? It was called Checkpoint.
Yeah.
I call my jokes Checkpoint. Like I can do anything, but I got to get to that joke. And if I get to that joke, I can do more, right?
I see.
Yeah.
It's kind of like marathon runners running and they grab a water from someone and keep going.
Yeah. All right, I'm ready to go again.
Oh, wow. Well, if you guys want to see what we're talking about, watch Ian's special. Yeah.
Amazon.
On Amazon, because it is a master class, and you don't do it just for 4 or 5 minutes.
I'm sure people have noticed that I've gotten fairly uncomfortable. I'm like, oh, Harland thinks I'm funny. Oh,
no, dude,
No.
it's great. It's
man.
probably out of all the specials on television, really showcases a full set of crowd work from start to finish.
I thought they filmed it very well too. Like they caught the crowd talking. They got, it wasn't
Dude,
just.
it's so good. I was so happy.
Would they fight you a lot doing crowd work when you first started? Where they would say, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing that."
Yeah. There was always people that said, "Don't do it," but you don't listen.
No.
And going back to my influences, I didn't know I'd have an influence, but I didn't know anyone was doing crowd work. But there was a guy in Canada when I was starting out. His name was Pat Bullard, and he was a little bit before your time, I think.
I know Pat. Pat's the one that said to me, he seen me on my first open mic, and he came up to me and he said, do me a favor. And I said, what? And he said, move away from Canada. With everything,
really?
Just move. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, Pat Bullard was he to this day, he's one of the best crowd work guys I've ever seen. And I didn't know how much, like I knew I wanted to do it. The first probably 3 years of me doing stand-up, I was too terrified to even look at the crowd. Like I'd stare into the lights. But then I started watching Pat. I'd see Pat and I'd go, in my head, I'd just go, yeah, this is totally
had him on
doable.
The show?
No.
You got to get him on there.
That's a great idea.
Pat. And he's so good.
Oh, Pat's the best. I can never say enough about how great Pat Bullard's crowd work was. Amazing.
And he's a writer. He writes on all these shows.
All the sitcoms,
And I bet he's great because of his crowd work. He's able to write in the room. I guarantee that, right?
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I actually brought Pat in. I was developing a show a couple of years ago, and I brought him in to a couple of production meetings because I wanted to hire him. The show never ended up going, but we were going to work together. And even sitting around the table, the guy was just hilarious.
Just so fun.
He's so funny. One of my favorite things he did, he was a really handsome guy.
Handsome, good hair.
Big
smile.
And he had that $1 million smile. And I remember...
And he held a microphone like this, remember that?
Yeah. And one of the things I loved that he did, he'd be riffing with the crowd, and he'd just go, and he'd always win, but every now and then some guy would stump him somehow. And I remember Pat with his beautiful smile, he'd just stop and he'd do that smile and he'd go, "Fuck off." Like that. But it was like his smile was so charming and endearing. You'd want to go, okay, where do I fuck off?
Just give him here's a bunch of money.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So who was? Did you have influences with crowd work? Or?
Yes, I did. So I loved Jonathan Winters when I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
because
Jonathan.
It was crowd work, but in a kind of different way.
Yeah,
right?
sort of like he did characters.
Yeah. But he would make stuff up.
Yeah, right.
And he'd go on these talk shows and he'd talk to them and get stuff from them. It wasn't prepared stand up. It was so. And then I liked Howie Mandel did a special where he did a bunch of crowd work.
Oh, good. Yeah, he's good too.
Yeah, and
Howie's quick, man.
Like, oh my goodness, this guy is amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the way you do it. You get these people to be your friend.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and I was just like, oh, this is cool. Because there is a difference between crowd work and normal stand-up, and I don't think it's not crowd work isn't normal stand-up.
Yeah.
But crowd work, you become friends with them.
Right.
Monologists kind of become above the crowd and are talking down to them a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. There's a
You see
truth
that?
to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Huh. Yeah. It's interesting how the tides turned a little on the whole crowd work thing. Because back in the 90s.
Who was the worst one that ever was really angry about you doing it?
I won't say any names, but there was a guy, quite a famous guy who he never had the balls to say it right to me, but kind of like a throwaway. You know, it's like I went up and killed doing crowd work, and he had to follow me. And he didn't come and go, "Hey, man, that crowd, you just heard." He just sort of mumbled, "He's that crowd work, and who can't do that?" Or
I just had that the other night.
You did?
I had a guy at the store go, "I guess I won't talk to you because that guy did nothing but talk to you the whole show."
Yeah, and I bet you did better than him too.
I knew I could feel him hurting. I could feel it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because it also does something else to the crowd. It takes them to a different kind of mindset because now you've exposed them to a different brand and style of comedy and a different energy. And so the guy who has to follow the guy who does great crowd work, it can be a bit of a struggle because they've just seen a guy like you basically just wing it and destroy.
Right.
And now they're going, oh, here comes the next guy, and all his bits are mapped out. Doesn't mean they're not good bits.
I was featuring for John Witherspoon, and he fired me after the first show.
Did he?
Yeah. And he said, "I'm not following that." Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was
It's tough.
I was like, "I love you, John. I'm not trying to. This is what I do."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, I'm just not following it." So
Yeah,
I'm like,
I get it. John's an old pro, too.
Yeah, he's
It's like,
fantastic. There was nothing against him.
Yeah.
It was just funny. I'm
Oh,
like,
I get it.
I need the work. Was at that time of your career.
Yeah.
I'll pay you. Just fuck off.
Yeah. Did you ever offer to him, say, "Hey, I won't do crowd work. I'll just
He didn't
do."
even give me that option. He
Just gone.
He said, "It's time for you to leave."
You were crowd work punished.
I remember my funniest conversation was there was a company that owns a bunch of clubs, and they wanted to do a special with me.
Yeah.
And they said to me, "You're not allowed to do any crowd work at all."
God.
And I said to them, "You guys have that guy, you manage that guy that does puppets, right?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, how come he was allowed to use puppets during his special?" And they said, "Well, what does that mean?" I go, "That's his strong part, right? And you let him do that." Well, mine's crowd work.
Yeah,
otherwise, I'm not gonna connect.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, we don't know if it'll work." And I go, "You only know me because it works.
Yeah.
That's the only reason you know me is because it works. Please trust me." And they wouldn't trust me.
And you just didn't blow through it?
No, I didn't. I just didn't.
I learned my
An hour of me just doing monology. It would not. It would be a complete meltdown afterwards.
I learned I don't think I've ever told you this, but I learned the really hard way because I always did crowd work too as I got deeper into my career. So by the time I moved to Hollywood, crowd work was a big part of my show. I'd kind of do like 70% planned material and 30% crowd work. And when I first got to town, I got the new agents and the managers, and I had a big management company, and they got everyone in town for 2 nights. They filled the Laugh Factory on Sunset with every agent from CAA, from William Morris, from everybody. This manager was so powerful, he got everybody out. And this manager at the time who I loved, and he was trying to give me good advice. He says to me before I do the show, he goes, "Don't do crowd work. Just do." I said, "Yeah, but crowd work's part of what I do. It's not all of it, but
I need to do a little bit of it.
It's part of my flow. It loosens me. It loosens them. It's part of what I want to present. It's who I am." And he goes, "Don't. Just do material." And, he was the big manager, and,
You must know better. You must know better.
So I went along with it, and I'm telling you, I was up there for 20, 25 minutes, silence. And then we had to do it again the next night. He brought the other half of the town, and same thing. And I said, "Look, let me do, you saw what happened." He goes, "That was just a fluke." He goes, "Tonight, just do it again, just material." and I just did material that normally crushed on its own, but I was a bit nervous.
But you don't have that same attitude when
Right.
you can be you.
Yeah, I felt restricted.
Right.
I felt like I was in a straitjacket, or like I wasn't loose and free, and so I wasn't myself. And I went on again, same thing, like crickets. I thought I was done. Like everyone.
Well, I guess I'm going back to Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, you know what? This is weird. I've never talked about this. I actually went upstairs in the Laugh Factory. This is before they put in all the seats up in the balcony.
Uh-huh.
And I went up there, and there was no one there, and I crouched down on the floor, and I cried. I was crying. I cried my eyes out. And I kind of just talked to God, and I went, you wanted this to happen. There was a reason. I said, this was killing me. It was brutal, but somehow I just put faith in the whole thing, and I said, for some reason, you wanted this to happen. You wanted me to fail in front of everyone, and then I just accepted it, and I went, it's okay. It's part of it. It was supposed to happen this way, and I just put faith in myself and in the universe that everything would go forward.
And from then on, you would never take that same advice, right?
Never. I never let anyone tell me
Weird
how
that
to
it has
do
to happen
stand-up.
in such an important event.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why can't I just be auditioning for one person and we do this?
Yeah.
Not everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially when he saw that it didn't work the first night. You know, but then
How much longer did you stay with that management?
I mean, we
Still
did,
with them.
we did great things together. Like
Right.
they were there for the pivotal part of my career, and then
But you were breaking edge. I'm not sucking up to you, Harland. You changed a lot of stand-up.
I did.
Yeah, you came out as you.
Yeah.
You were different. You
Yeah.
weren't the same old thing.
Yeah.
You were different, and you said to guys such as myself, it's okay to be you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So when guys that are big managers, they're used to, oh, this works, and then you're hot for that reason of you, but they don't really get why you're hot.
Yeah.
They're just used to putting things in the right holes, right?
That's right. And
it-
I was learning that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's weird that we have to go, and you're probably 27, 28?
Back then I was probably, I think I was about like 29 or 30.
Right. So
I moved to LA a bit late.
So you're still not at a comfortable spot. You're still not saying to people, you're like a little bit shy of saying, no, I got this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was complete.
Right.
Because this guy was such a big manager, and I have no malice against the
there's no
guy.
malice,
He was doing what he thought was. It was actually a guy named Eric Gold who managed Jim Carrey when Jim was lightning hot. So
Right.
Jim and me had the same. So I'm not going to listen to Eric
Right.
Gold.
Right.
And he wasn't doing it. He was trying to help me, but
Right.
it was just,
I could see how people thought you and Jim were the same, but you weren't.
Yeah.
Like Jim was still monology, even though it was manic.
Yeah.
He wasn't crowd work.
No, Jim hard.
So
I
I
worked.
could see somebody being confused, saying, "Oh, you're just manic. You're not
Yeah.
manic.
Yeah.
You're working on a different rope."
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised because I worked in Jim's final days of doing stand-up. Well, I was there for the final days, but before that, I opened for
He's
Jim.
dead. He's not dead, is he? So we just let that out of the bag.
Are we making an announcement here?
He's alive.
He's with us.
Don't even do it. It's a Halloween episode, but there's no ghosts.
But Jim didn't do a lot of crowd work. He
didn't.
He was just up there going crazy and being wild, but you'd think a guy like him would because he's.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you've had a lot of people say to you, "Oh, you remind me of Jim Carrey."
You know what? Not really.
Really?
Yeah. When I first started my movie career, the media was compared. They were calling me the next Jim Carrey. I got a lot of that. They were comparing me to it, and I didn't like that. And nobody,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice compliment, but you don't want to be. You want to be your own entity,
Yeah.
And Jim's style was much different than mine,
people talking to Jim gets in the way of Jim. Like I'm saying, when Jim was doing stand up,
Yeah.
people talking to Jim during his act actually gets in the way of him doing his act.
Yeah.
Whereas with you, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It takes it a different direction.
Yeah.
And puts you on a different road that could be even funnier than the road
That's
you're
right.
on.
Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah.
And you were talking about earlier, like the crowd becoming your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I even don't mind it when the crowd becomes like antagonistic or not my
Really?
friend, because
No, I want to be liked.
No, I want to be liked, but if the energy goes in a certain
I see,
way,
yeah,
I
yeah.
like feeding off energy. I like following the energy, even in myself. Like sometimes, you ever have a night where you're just depressed,
Right.
And you're like, I can't go on stage. I'm like, my girlfriend just broke up with me. You're just down. But I
So you
take
them
that
there.
energy up there, and I have kind of like this, like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. I'm like, how you doing? But I've had some of my best sets because I have faith in.
But I don't think they're not your friend at that point. They're just saying, hey, they're going with you and letting you let that person that's in there at that time out.
Right, that's true. But what I'm saying is, if there's someone in the crowd that's hostile or aggressive or whatever, I'll ride that energy too. Most
It
of the
happens
time,
every once in a while,
Yeah.
right? Every once in a while, you're just like, I don't understand why this person's in comedy.
Yeah,
You should probably be at a UFC fight.
yeah, or one of the UFO fights over your town.
Oh, yes. Sasquatch meets UFO.
Yeah, up in the air.
I love that you told the story about crying at the back of everything, because half of it was probably you thought it can't get any more important than tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I was so disappointed. I was crushed. Like I burst out in tears. I'll never forget it. I think it's the only time I never thought comedy would make me cry. I was just fucking blubbering. Like I couldn't shut it off. And luckily there was no one up there.
Right.
Like it was brutally crushing because all the
Makes
huge
you more
agent.
human. Makes you more human. I'm sure to the people watching this too. Makes you. It's incredible. It's like
Yeah.
Do you ever seen that? Brian. He's why am I blanking on it? Oh, his brother was a writer on King of Queens.
Brian Blanky.
Brian Blanky. He does all the clean comedy. He's known for clean comedy.
Oh, Brian Regan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen his Montreal set where he starts 3 or 4 times?
Oh, yeah. And
because he puts so much pressure on it.
Yeah.
And instead of it just, hey man, it's another set.
Yeah. What happened is
I guarantee he cried afterwards.
he came out like 4 times and he bombed coming out. So he said, I'm just going to do it again.
Right.
And he did like 4. And each time he bombed.
It just got worse.
I wonder if he cried. Yeah. But you know what?
They show that. They have that on a video. Like they have.
Poor guy.
I'm just like, he's one of the most prolific guys out there.
Well, that's the beauty of it. That's what's great because you can see someone fail in real time. It's like watching an athlete fail. But, it's like watching Usain Bolt. You ever watch his early races? Guys are just whipping by him and then cut to 5 years later and no one can catch him.
Right.
And that's the same in any career, but that's kind of what happens with us. And after my crybaby session, cut to 3 years later, or should I say, about 3 years later, I'm at the same club. I'm still sort of the new entity in town. I'm the unknown guy.
Right.
David Letterman brings his posse to LA to audition for Letterman to do a stand-up spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still low guy on the totem pole that no one really knows. And they do a night to audition, and they put on Chris Rock, Damon Wayans, Ray Romano. Like it was the who's who, and they put the new kid on last. And this time, I learned from that night where I was like, don't talk to the crowd. And I went, you know what? I'm the last guy. I'm up against all these superstars. I'm just going to do me. I don't care. I'm throwing. And I just went up and I did it. I don't know if that moment where I bombed taught me, but I was so loose and free. And out of all those guys, I destroyed. And when I walked off stage, they said, we want you on Letterman.
Who was the person that was booking it?
It was Dan Kellison back then. And it was
1990.
It was somewhere in the 90s. I think it was 1902. Actually. It
1902?
was one of the early
One of his
Letterman years.
first episodes.
Yeah.
No.
And so it was like
I was going to ask you about auditioning for late night shows and
Yeah.
whether you do crowd work or not. So
that's
great.
that night I did a little bit. I
Right.
did do a lot,
takes
but
enough.
I just did
Just
enough
enough.
to make me
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And that's what I needed to do on that night. But it was like I said, I learned from that night where I had the burnout. I said I'm never not going to be me again.
Because
And
if you're
then
not
I did
making
it.
you happy, you're
Yeah.
never going to make them happy.
Yeah. And if you're not in the right energy for yourself, you can't perform, you know? So interesting stuff. Do you want to cry together right now or
We
no?
should just turn it off, hold each other, then come back and do another round.
Like-
I'm trying to think of some of the times that I've bombed thinking that everything's on the line.
Oh wow, yeah. It's not fun.
I think it's every time that you're trying to do something, you think everything depends on this. And
Yeah.
it never depends just on that.
Yeah.
And if you just have fun, because I think as long as we have fun, doesn't matter how dark of a comedian you are.
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying yourself,
Yeah.
it reads.
It reads. It's all
Right? Mm-hmm.
energy. It's all spirit, it's energy, it's flow. Yeah, I totally agree.
I agree too.
And I agree we should probably Oh, can we do something though? Because
Nope.
no, we got it. Here's my phone. Because we're Canadian, and we have so many Canadian viewers, and Americans will love this too. Can I set the timer for 60 seconds, and we just talk Canadian for 60 seconds?
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
Hoser
yeah.
talk. Like, in the States, they have rednecks, and they talk like this.
I've had a
and
lot of people tell me that where I'm from is the hillbilly of Canada.
Yeah. So let's tell them before we do this what a hoser is, right? They're like kind of the Canadian redneck, right?
Yeah, Canadian. Yeah, it's a bad word for Canadian.
Yeah. But it's kind of like a playful, fun, like it's
Yeah.
they're kind of the guys that just live outside the cities and up in the north, and they have a certain way they talk and they're great people, but
Little
it's-
sing song in their accent.
Yeah. So let me hit it, and we're going to do a 1 minute Canadian conversation just for all. Say hi to our Canadian folks, bud.
Hi, Canadians.
Hey. All right, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. How's she going, bud? I'm heading over to Swiss Chalet. You want to grab some fucking wings
You're
and
going to
chicken?
Swiss Chalet for that gravy? Oh, I love the gravy on the fries. Makes me feel
Fucking
good
right,
about myself.
Spud, yeah.
Noon. My mom says not to have the gravy, but she don't know nothing.
What the fuck's your mom doing these days? She's still up there in the timber sucking back fucking chili dogs?
She thinks she's a doctor, but she's just a nurse.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Next time I
yeah.
cut my leg with the fucking chainsaw, I'll go see the doctor nurse lady hiding in the woods.
I don't even know why there's security at the airport, because you know everybody knows everybody on the plane, and we know the guy that's going to cause the problems can't afford a flight. So I don't know what the point
Holy
is.
fuck, bud. Maybe we should skip the
Bud.
Swiss Chalet.
Buddy,
Head over to fucking hey, buddy.
buddy.
Fucking right, guy.
Fucking
Fuck.
bud. Go down to the store and get a 2-4.
Holy fuck. We'll stop at Tim Hortons, grab some donuts, get a French cruller, hey?
Roll up the rim.
Fucking get
Gotta roll up the rim because I'm gonna win.
a fucking 2-4. Get some fucking Joe Louis.
The Joe Louis.
And
The
then
Joe Louis. Go get us a Kit Kat and have a good old time.
And then we'll stop at the Canadian Tire, eh? And we'll get a fucking sleeping bag and we'll slap your sister in the fucking fat face with it, hey?
I tell you what, if you could be a millionaire off of Canadian Tire bucks,
Yeah.
I'd be a double millionaire. I'd be a 2 millionaire.
Fucking right, hey, bud.
Yeah.
Fucking hey, right.
Go down to the river, get us some salmon, take it home and smoke it.
Oh, shit.
You like
And-
smoked salmon?
Yeah, it's hard to roll, but fuck,
yeah.
it gets
If
me.
you can get it rolled.
Gets me higher than a moose fucking in the midnight mist.
Have you ever been so high that you confused a moose with a horse?
Fucking right.
Oh, I'm like feeding a moose and think it's fucking Johnny B. Horse. It's not.
Well, it's been good talking to you, guy, and we'll fucking see you later.
I hope you drop down to the trailer court sometime. We can do this again.
Okay, fucking hey, right, hey?
Hey, fucking rights. Oh my God.
And done.
Yeah, grade 1.
Dude, that was a 2-minute one.
Oh, we did a 2-minute one. I was
We
like,
did 2:15.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking, fucking, he does not know how to set up a clock.
A what?
I thought you were gonna go down and then it was gonna buzz when we got to a minute.
No.
We just kept going.
Dude, we got in. That was probably the flow right there.
Harland, I think I speak for the people at home when I say you are fantastic.
Well, I'm not a desktop cleaning fluid, but thank you. I think you're Windex.
You did that. I love your brain. It just makes me happy. So happy.
What was that? Was
I wanted to
that
ask-
another sex noise?
Yeah,
First I get, then I get, What is
I've jizzed on your table many
good,
times.
sweet salamander sauce, guy?
Don't taste it. It'll give you it'll give you a
Jeez.
horrible disease.
God.
Anyways,
Yeah. Oh, we
where
have
can
to.
we see you next?
We want to do a Halloween story.
Oh yeah, do a Halloween story.
Do you have a funny Halloween? Because Halloween's coming up, and we all love Halloween. Do you have a funny Halloween story?
I just got one where I dropped a firework down our vent. You know,
Yeah, what happened? Tell it.
It just like all the sparks were flying up, and I was only about 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
So I couldn't sleep the whole night because I thought I'd burnt down the house. And my dad's like,
What?
"Go to bed, it's out." And I'm like, "It's not out, but we can't get to it." So
Wait, you had a firework on Halloween?
I thought I must be Northern Canadian. That's when they shoot them off. Is on
They
Halloween.
do?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
We never shot fireworks
When did you guys
off on
shoot 'em?
Halloween.
When did you guys
we
shoot
did
'em?
it on like
Exact-
firework day.
Yeah, Halloween.
Was it?
Yeah, that's when Canadians would shoot fireworks off to keep the spirits away.
The South Squad.
Yeah.
God, okay, that's wild. I had the weirdest Halloween story. Me and my buddies in high school, it was like, I don't know, we must have been 18 or something like
My story's
that.
about being 8. You're 18. Okay.
So outside of Toronto, where I grew up, there was an insane asylum, right?
Oh no.
Yeah. There was a nutty nut house where they
Nutty nut
where they
house.
kept the fucking whack jobs, right? Like it was a true insane asylum.
Right.
And we knew about it because one of my buddies' dad owned a yacht, and you had to pass the asylum to get to his yacht club.
I thought you were saying he was crazy because he didn't really own a yacht, but he was so nuts he pretended he owned a yacht.
No, we had. So that's how we knew. So one Halloween, I said to the guys, I said, why don't for Halloween, because we love those movies like Halloween and Friday the 13th
Yeah.
and all that. I said, why don't we do this for Halloween? Let's go at night, and we'll break into the insane
Oh
asylum.
no.
And we'll put fucking masks on and we'll scare the shit out of the crazy people. And
Surprised you're alive.
I know, dude, I learned how to pick locks when I was in boarding school when I was a kid. So I said, don't worry, I'll get us in, I'll pick the lock, I'll get us in the insane asylum. So there was 3 of us. We had a Laurel and Hardy mask, the fat guy. We had an Albert Einstein mask, like these rubber masks, and a Groucho Marx mask, like the rubber ones that they fit right to your face and only your eye. Like they looked great, right?
Yeah.
So here we are. It's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and this insane asylum's kind of out in the middle of nothing.
I hope so.
We drive up. Sure as hell, I got a coat hanger and I jimmied the door. Okay, we get in. This thing's about probably 8 stories high. It's like a big insane
A lot
asylum.
of fucking kooks in Canada by the
A lot of fucking nutbags,
yeah.
right? It's Halloween night, and we're thinking, what better way to scare people than to freak out the nuts, right? So we got the masks on. We get in, there's an elevator. We get in the elevator, and we press like the top floor, like the 7th floor or whatever,
That must be where the most nuts are. On the
right?
top.
Keep the real whack jobs.
But you don't realize those ones are usually on the bottom the most night because the most normal on top because they won't jump off.
Oh,
If you put the
right.
nutty ones, that's where.
We didn't think of that. So we get in the elevator.
All right.
We get in the elevator. We start going up. We got there. We're all excited because we're thinking we're going to cause pandemonium. We're
Right.
going to freak the shit out of. We get up. The elevator doors open. We're standing there. And before we can get out of the elevators, just this face comes around the wall just like this. And it's a fucking crazy guy. And he just goes, and a giant fucking drool. Like,
No.
like exactly what you'd think you'd see in
Right,
an
right,
insane
right.
asylum. He just goes, And just like, and we just fucking, and we jumped out of the elevator, and they were all wandering in the hall. It was like right out of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. They had the white robes on, and they were just wandering. And we were fucking terrified in the elevator.
Why'd you get out of the elevator?
Because the guy fucking freaked us out. We were like, we wanted to get around him. We were like fucking scared of this. Like, he scared the shit out of us. Just like, you know, like drool. And the doors closed behind us, and we see all these people now. And all of a sudden, a nurse comes out. And a nurse, she goes, "Can I help you?" Like as if, you know, Laurel and Hardy, Albert Einstein, and Groucho Marx should be there, right?
You're not helping the rest of the people. I don't know how you're going to help us.
Yeah, right. So we go, we just came to cheer up the kids for Halloween, give them a little scare.
Right.
And as she's there looking at us, the doors open, we jump the fuck in, they close, we go down, and we were out of there. Scariest Halloween ever for us.
Have you ever told that story before?
I'm not sure. I don't think
You're lucky you didn't end up in jail.
I know. Like the way the nurse was so casual about it. Here's these.
So Canadian, just like, can I help you?
Yeah, can I help you at 10 at night, Groucho Marx? Can I get you a snack, Albert Einstein? How about you, fatty? Fucking, dude, it was.
I'm guessing you're going to want to bite.
Yeah. But just this fucking drool and the glazed out eyes, it was everything.
Because they're all on lithium or whatever. Yeah, right.
I don't know what but it was.
Way to go, Harland.
We kind
cheered
of
them up that night.
We thought it would, like in our cartoon minds, we thought this is what an insane asylum should be. But we thought, it'll probably be kids in their rooms strapped to their beds. And then we got it. It was like scary.
Who was with you?
It was my buddy Steve Reeves and my other high school buddy Mark Schiffer.
What did they become?
Steve became a great big like real estate guy, like millions of dollars.
Probably tore down that.
He probably bought it. He probably turned it
and
into a chic hotel.
Son of a bitch.
And then the other guy I lost touch with because the other guy I lost touch with because he got a girlfriend, and I think she was nervous of all these antics that I started with these guys. And I think she just said, he's dangerous. And I probably was. I mean, I was always starting crazy stuff.
Yeah, but look, Mark ended up becoming a millionaire. You helped him out. If it wasn't for you pushing him.
You mean Steve?
Steve, sorry.
Yeah, Mark was the guy that kind of bailed.
A puss. He was a puss.
Yeah, he
puss whipped.
He stepped back. But speaking of puss.
Yes.
Me and you.
Yes.
On the other side of this planet.
Yes.
And I know your wife's listening, but this was pre-marriage.
Way pre-marriage.
We were doing a show in Australia, Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah.
And one night, me and the two Canadian studs, after I had a midnight show.
Yeah.
At like 1:30 in the morning.
I think I did too, or something like that too.
And you came to my show after yours, to my venue, which was an old movie theater. And we met a couple of Sheilas. Remember? We went out, we fucking wined them and dined them, eh?
We dined them.
We fucking chatted them up, took them out, had some fucking Fosters.
G'day.
Fuck, remember that?
G'day.
We just fucked with them all night. I don't mean physically, but we were just spritzing back and
having
forth.
A good time. They thought, what are you guys up to? And we're like, having a good time.
Remember? And we hung out all night. And then I went home with the cute little blondie.
And I took the big bitch. No,
did you?
I think they were both good looking, weren't they?
They were. They were both like hotties.
That was good. Yeah, it turned out okay for us.
It did.
Yeah,
did you?
Okay. Yeah.
Did you close the
deal?
Look,
my wife hears this. I was a virgin until we got married, but yeah, I closed a deal. Did you close a deal? Of course you did.
Yeah.
You don't go to Australia not to pet a kangaroo.
You don't go to Australia not to shave a koala. Whoa.
I was pre-shaved.
Whoa, really?
I was shocked and surprised.
Wow.
Makes her swim faster in the surf.
I was wandering in the outback. Duckbill platyfuck.
Oh.
Well, dude, this was so fun, man.
Thanks for having me. And seriously, you are, I don't know, I'm sure you get told all the time, but you were an inspiration to a lot of Canadian comics starting out in my time.
Oh, thank you.
And you're only a couple years ahead of me.
Yeah.
But your success just, was awesome to watch, and you always treated us all so good. And
Oh,
you're just a good guy. And,
thank you, buddy.
And I love that you're doing this and just talking to people, because
it's a blast.
Yeah, man, you're just good.
Thank you, buddy.
You're
Thank you.
good. I don't care what fucking Mark's girlfriend says.
I don't care what the kids at the asylum have to say. Before you go, though, can we do one last thing? We do this thing on the show.
What's that?
It's called Words from a Wooden Shoe.
Oh,
This is an authentic clog from Holland.
really?
Yeah, a friend of mine went over there and brought it back. We put words in the shoe.
Okay.
You reach in, you pick one, and it's not word association. You kind of, if it triggers a story
Okay.
or a joke or something, you kind of go off the cue, pick a word, tell us what it is, and see if it sparks something.
I think this one's been read before.
Words from a wooden shoe.
Unexplainable. It's perfect for this whole show.
Really?
Yeah, because we started out with UFOs
Oh, yeah.
and Sasquatch, and both are unexplainable, right?
Oh, yes.
Because UFOs, nobody's ever had one of those. Nobody's ever brought one to us to look at.
Right.
Bigfoot
Yeah.
has never been brought. Nobody's seen it, but there's stories of them,
Yeah.
and it's unexplainable why those stories would be.
Yeah.
It's very scary that Bigfoot is out there, but unexplained.
Why
And that says this whole show,
unexplained?
unexplainable.
You know, last thought about Bigfoot. He's anatomically not that different from us.
Right.
If his feet are big,
He should have a huge
aren't
cock.
everything else?
Yeah, he should be. He should be.
If I see him, can I go, hey, big balls?
Yeah.
Why the feet?
And is he going to be uncircumcised?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever think about that?
Right.
Can you imagine?
Might be a Jewish Bigfoot.
No.
Might be circumcised.
No. Oh, circumcised
Yeah.
Jewish Bigfoot?
Yeah, well, don't all
Then-
Jewish people get circumcised?
Well, that would explain why he's been lost for so many years.
Oh, wow.
Just been wandering around in the woods,
Big
just like
balls.
the original Jewish people in the desert.
Yeah, filled big balls. Well, before we go, tell people where they can see your podcast, where they can see your tour schedule, all that great stuff.
If you go to ianbagg.com, you can find my tour schedule. I do a hockey podcast right now.
Nice.
With my buddy that I grew up with in Terrace, British Columbia, who ended up playing for the Detroit Red Wings.
Fucking right, eh, bud?
Fucking way to go, Jeffy!
Fuck,
Way to go,
bud.
Jeff!
Fucking right.
So we talk to guys that have played in the NHL,
Cool.
guys that are coaching the NHL still. We just do, because our life. Did you play hockey? You played hockey.
Fuck yeah.
So hockey had a lot to do with helping me out through my stand-up career. When I moved to New York, I ended up
Right.
coaching hockey. And
Oh, wow.
I met Tim Robbins. He put me in my first ever movie and it came all through hockey.
Yeah.
So we just kind of talk about how hockey fits into
Oh,
our
that's
lives.
cool.
Yeah, and what guys do after hockey, because
Yeah.
a hockey career is very short.
Yeah.
So and life is long. So yeah,
Well, I
unexplainable.
yeah. Fuck. I played hockey in LA almost since
I've tried
I
to get you.
moved here.
Remember?
You have?
Remember, I stopped you on the street one day. Going to play hockey. You want to go?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you're like, huh?
yeah, I was in 2 leagues for I played.
You played roller.
I
more,
played
though.
roll and ice.
Ice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where'd you play ice?
Played ice down by the airport at LA,
El
whatever.
Segundo?
And then also out in the valley off of Roscoe, way out by Van Nuys Airport.
Yeah. The Van Nuys.
Yeah, where the LA Kings used to practice.
Still, is it Simi Valley? Is that one or no?
No. I played
Silmar?
roller at Simi Valley.
Oh,
Look at us
that's a
getting
drive.
off on hockey. These people don't understand hockey.
They should understand. Just 2 Canadian kids hanging out in a room talking about arenas.
Yeah. Folks, it's Ian Bagg. Please check them out. Hilarious. And one last time, because I love it so much, just tell me that special on Amazon Prime again.
I have 2 on there. One is called Ian Bagg, Getting to Know You.
Yeah.
And the other one is called Conversations.
And Conversations is the one where you do most of the crowd
Both
work.
of them are
Both of them.
Both of them are all crowd work.
Check them out. You won't be disappointed.
Yes, you will.
No, you won't.
Yes, you will.
Yes, you won't.
Yes, you will.
You know what?
Jeremy Gold told me to fucking keep going straight down the runway.
You're this close to going into that asylum, guy.
Oh, I was wondering if one of you got caught. We lost Mark, and he just lives in there.
That's the face.
No.
That's it. That's it for now. Until next time, everybody. Thank you, Ian. Until next time, chicken chow mein, baby.
The end of it, you sounded kind of like Ian Asbury from The Cult. Chicken chow mein, baby.
Oh, we're done. That won't get in.
I don't care.
Well, that's it.
I'm just still having a conversation.
You don't get to do bonus material.
Oh, yes. They have to pay for this.
I'm not the crowd. I'm not going to let you talk to me like that. Oh, wow. He did the muff flaps. All right.
I love you, Harland.
Love you. Goodbye.